Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled are filmmaker Amanda Eliasch and musician Cedric Leonardi. Born in Lebanon and raised in the English countryside, Amanda Eliasch is a multi-talented filmmaker who is also a poet, a writer, a photographer, an actor, a director, and a mother. Right, Amanda?
And a fashion editor.
And a fashion editor. She studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, the Academy of Live and Recorded Arts, the Black and White Photography School, and the Moscow Arts Theater. Your family was in the arts. Did you have a hard time deciding what path to take?
Well, actually, they wanted me to be very, very conventional, and so they made me get a job as a secretary, first of all. And I obviously was a lousy secretary because we're all very artistic in our family. And the problem was excellence. You had to be excellent. There was no point in just being good. You had to be brilliant. And I suppose I had a difficulty with that because I had no confidence. I didn't know if I was going to be brilliant.
Or excellent in 10 different ways.
Well, I suppose I'm always trying to look, I believe an artist really does many different things. They put themselves in difficult situations in order to grow. And so I like putting myself in impossible situations and try to make the best of them, in fact, learn from them. And that's why I changed.
Did you learn that from your mother? Was your mother an opera singer?
My mother was an opera singer. My grandfather was a film director. My grandmother was a pianist. They were all brilliant. And then there was me. And basically, my grandfather said when I was very little that I shouldn't just be pretty. I should be interesting.
He knew you were pretty.
But he said this to me at the age of 7, and I thought, oh, God, okay. And I pretended to be very thick.
Oh, did you?
I learned that if I was very, very thick, I didn't have to do very much. And when he said this, I thought, my God, I better wake up and start working. And that's when I did.
At 7? No,
yes,
a little bit.
At 7.
No, at 7, really?
Yeah, I really started to work at 7-ish.
Well, then you did decide to go to RADA, the Royal Academy,
yes.
and the Academy of Live and Recorded, but did they shape you in different ways? Did you learn different things at both of those places?
RADA and ALRA are like boot camps. They're not easy paths to choose. The problem is it's such a fantastic thing to get into any drama school in England because, they only have 14 people a year, each drama
Is
school.
That right?
It's accredited. And so, you think, my God, I've done it. I've got to get in. And there's only going to be one blonde. There's going to be other types as well. But, they're casting for the next Shakespeare plays.
Is that how they
Yes.
pick their people?
And so you're picked right at the beginning. And they're not going to choose from other years. They're already casting.
But you had to decide if you were going to act or at the voice school or whatever you want, academy, whether you want to be in TV or on the radio.
Absolutely, but you have no choice. You go in and do a theatre school. You have to follow their program.
Oh, you do.
And in England, you're trained as an all-round actress for the stage.
And did you go on the stage?
Well, I went once. Actually, I got one job, and it was going on Brighton Beach, and I just thought, oh my God, this is too difficult. And I was offered the job at the same time working for Italian Vogue, and I thought that was much more entertaining.
Much more glamorous.
Yes, much more glamorous. And I went to work as a photographer.
But you had already gone to photo school?
Yes.
You had already gone to photography school?
Yes, I did them at the same time.
And so you were doing fashion photography then?
No, I actually did black and white photography, which I studied with a fantastic photographer called Michel Comte, who's still alive. He's an amazing photographer
fantastic.
Who's just made a film. He's extraordinary. And somebody called Bob Carlos Clark, and he taught me to print. And so that's how I got the job.
So what did Italian Vogue tell this young actress to do?
They tell
Just
me
don't go to Brighton.
I wasn't so young anyway. But in any case, they tell me that they wanted 46 artists to be photographed within 2 months. And I thought, 46 artists? They'd assume because I was friends of Charles Saatchi that I should know 46 artists. But you know, I knew him because he just liked me. And
Charles Saatchi was in the advertising business,
yes.
a big collector,
yes.
has a museum,
and an enormous gallery.
Right.
He's caused a bit of a
Just
furore.
to let us know. What
Well, you know, he's probably he probably was the #1 person to help Damien Hirst, Tracy Emin, all the major not photographers and artists in England.
But then that's how you had your in, because those were the very people that you started photographing.
Yes. And
Did
so
you go
I did
into
Tracy
their
Emin.
studios?
Absolutely. I took pictures of their studios, and I accompanied it with a diary, and which was printed by Asseline. And it was a huge success. I think they're still selling it, and we did it a long time ago now, probably about 10, 12 years ago.
That was fantastic. So did you have to find artists that you didn't know? Who gave you that list?
Well, actually, I was really terrified. I thought, my God, I've got to do it because it's Italian Vogue and I've got to be efficient. So I actually just rang up. I only knew one artist, and that was at the time Tim Noble and Sue Webster.
Oh, that was great. Tim Noble was pretty good.
Yeah, that's an amazing couple, and they actually gave me the in for everybody else.
Oh, then they just connected you?
Yes, and of course the galleries would give you, say, Tracy Emin, but they might give you somebody that's not so good as well, but I still had to photograph them. But in any case, it's a good historical book of all the artists of the time, and it shows really who was successful. It was called British Artists at Work.
That's fantastic. Yes. That really was a great assignment.
Yes, it was the most incredible. It changed my life, in fact.
And then did you do fashion after that?
Well, actually, I was walking down Sunset Boulevard, and a man came behind me and said, would he like me to be their fashion editor? And I thought, fashion editor? And I couldn't say no, because at the age of 12, that's really what I wanted to do. And so I thought I must say yes. So I said yes. I said, I'll be your fashion editor. And so it's actually based here in Los Angeles, called Genlux Magazine.
Oh, you work for Genlux.
Oh,
the
yes.
other thing, so you're walking down Sunset. We're in West Hollywood right now. You wrote a play, As I Like It.
Yes.
And that also played in West Hollywood.
Yes, absolutely. It's a play based on 5,000 words that my father asked me to write, and I decided to write it about my life. And when
it was all about you.
Yes, only about me. I wasn't interested in anybody else, and I really didn't want to write about anyone else. And so I wrote it about my life. And he, at 12 o'clock, because he was based in Washington, rang me up and said, "Well, it's absolutely incredible." And by tea time, he said, "Well, we'll all have to be dead before you do anything with this." And he suggested I make it into a play. And when my mother and he died, I did it.
Oh, because did he
was
say
sort
it
of a
was
memory to them.
exposing?
Yeah, it's very exposing for me and for them. And so basically they said, we'll have to be all dead. Actually, my mother read it, and when she read it, she used to flick through it, and she said there was nothing wrong with it, so I thought it was okay.
So it was produced in London and in West Hollywood.
Yes, and then I turned it into a film.
Oh, then you turned it into a film. That's the film, The Gun, The Cake?
The Cake and the Butterfly.
Oh, I see. Well, before that, I was going to talk about
The Sins of the Butterfly.
Is this The Sins of the Butterfly?
Yes. It's the 7 Deadly Sins of a Butterfly.
So this is your poetry book?
Yes.
And tell us the name of this.
The Sins of a Butterfly. Everything that I do is based on as a butterfly, because I once had a boyfriend who called me Bee, and B for butterfly, obviously, and I like to remember him because he was fantastic.
So everything in here you wrote.
Yes.
And did you use this as an inspiration then for your
Well, some of the things. I'm not the whole lot. Some of the things, because I've mixed documentary with poetry.
Let's talk about the film, the Gun, the Cake, and the Butterfly. It's a docudrama.
Yes.
What does that mean?
A docudrama means
Did you make up some of it?
Yeah, it's a scripted documentary, and I actually had the fortunate thing of doing yoga one day, and I spoke to this girl, and she said she had been to Mount View Drama School, which is actually a very good drama school for musical theatre in England. And I said, "Oh, good, you're an actress. Could you read my play?" And when she read it, she absolutely loved it. And so from the play, we turned it into a film, because my
So did she play you?
Yes.
She did.
But
So
she's
that's
completely the opposite. Nothing to do with me.
So that's the drama part of it.
Yes.
Was it precisely from the stage?
No, it's very different, but it has a familiarity, and also I'm in it. I'm not on the in the stage version.
But you are in your film.
Yes.
But someone else plays you.
Yes, as well.
So let's talk about the film.
So
where did the inspiration? You must have had more inspiration than your poetry, or the inspiration to write the poetry.
I suppose where it came from was the idea that as you're sitting here, you're thinking about all sorts of things. You're thinking, I'd love to go and see my best friend who's sick. I'd love to go and see my boyfriend.
I want to be out of here.
Yes. And all these things, we have double thoughts. So I was thinking, as I go along, in our brain, even if we don't like it, or ourselves for being like that, we have good things, we have bad things, or you mustn't be like that. We always have a second thing talking all like this all the time. And that's where I got the idea of using two of us to play the same character.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So, we say terrible things in it. And of course, in the beginning, I didn't realize, I never made a film before, that obviously it's a moving picture.
So you...
And of course you have to cut down words, and I love words. And that was very difficult for me to drop the words. You have to do things with thought.
Did you get a cinematographer,
No.
a director? How'd you do this then?
No, I used 10 friends that I know are brilliant with the camera, because I like the idea that people make mistakes. From mistakes, they have great beauty.
So is there different?
Yes,
different.
You get the feeling. I thought, how on earth am I going to do an hour with a monologue with a woman, one woman, or let's say 4 women in this case? What I'll do is I'll use different cinematographers for different bits.
Oh, so you did this? Would you do the same bit with different cinematographers or different camera people?
Yes, exactly. So you get a really feeling of different moments of a person's life.
And where does it start and where does it end?
It starts when I'm born.
It does?
Yes.
So do you have a baby?
I have a little girl playing me who's adorable, called Mimi Dean, and she is 7 years old, and she has to say terrible things. In fact, she said them very easily. I fed her the lines, and she did it so easy. I thought, my God, at 7 you're already thinking terrible things. But she says very good things too, and it was amazing to work with a little girl, really, and very similar to me. She was very happy to be with me. She came in one day and she said, I'm a star. I've got a job, I've got a part, and I'm going to be in a cinema.
So
and I'm earning a salary.
So she was ready. Did you film it in England or here?
I filmed it all around the world. I went to Thailand, Marrakesh, Paris.
You did?
Yes, everywhere.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep writing to JAQUINN1 at AOL.com. And we'll see you next time.